Welcome to Go-To Moves. We're giving the basics today. Go-To moves are not something I created. None of these are my moves. These are the most efficient moves at the highest level of basketball by actual stat to make your game simpler so that you have one tool for each job. Imagine you're a fighter and you don't know which tool to grab. That's what go-to moves are for. It's knowing only which tools you need so that you have the right tool for the best job, and then you can be sharpening that tool. As you study these, you will start to watch basketball in a different light. You will start to notice the guys getting paid more understand this more than the guys they're schooling. So I am going to go over this. Notice I've numbered these to make it easy to track along with the clips because it's going to take 26 clips to show you, and this is all right in this video. Also notice there's 3 additional moves. These would be considered advanced go-to moves because not every player on the floor needs them, but they are by nature go-to moves. So I think once these 4 you really have down, it actually gets a lot easier to learn these ones. So let's break it down. The first position, every player ends up in this position at some point, is catching the ball. Every time you catch the ball, you can go right off that. And the trick of this, I'm going to talk right now, this is going to be shown. The trick of this is that say you're a right-handed shooter, you go by pushing off your back leg because a defender is most likely to turn his body to your hand, leaving that direction open because his body is angled this way. So the move starts with a go off that back foot, but can turn into a jab to go the other way, which can turn into a hezi to keep going that way. And now when you do have space, if you can land perfectly on a catch on 2 feet at the exact same time, so you haven't given up any pivot foot, you not only can get your shot off the quickest, you also, when you shot fake, depending on where the defender is, you can step in either direction because you haven't given up a pivot foot. So it makes you wicked tough to guard. Now, a catch is one situation, but you often have the ball in a position where you're not facing the rim ready to attack, but you haven't put a dribble down yet. So you better have a jab series move. So this is the second most common position every player ends up in. When you take that step, you can immediately go or hezi or actually pick the foot up again into a jab, hezi, jab. And depending on where, if a defender overplays you but leaves you open for the shot, you can release the shot from the inside pocket or the outside pocket. Lastly, a defender may try to block off your jab step. So before you even get into your jab, boom, you're gone right off a negative step. You'll see a lot of, when you see the top 10 dunks, it's often off a cheating defender and the offensive player just hitting them with a negative step for a total blow-by. So moving from there, you end up with the ball where you're dribbling. And not every player gets to dribble with a lot of space. But just by having the ball, you can shuffle. Shuffle means going from one foot to the other foot, one foot to the other foot. And you'll see the difference once we go over these options compared to a skip, which is same foot to same foot. So both of these have the same options, but I'll still show you each one. When you shuffle, you can go. And the trick is to let one foot slide behind the other so that it's like a track meet and you can push off and really go fast. And when you go, you can really cross someone over by staying on the ball of your foot right there, because if you go heel toe, they know you're slowing down. But if you stay on the ball of your foot, then you can cross the heck out of them. That's the trick of guys like Allen Iverson and Jamal Crawford, is one foot goes behind the other, and then they only go to the ball of their foot when they cross. Now, watch a player like Dennis Smith, or even a guy like Bone Collector's a street ball player, but his hezi is why he has his respect, because he can also hoop for real. But whenever you see him play against like an NBA player or something, he's going right to that go-to move. So a hezi is now when you're going to go to cross, you push off the front foot as if you're going to cross, but then you push off the back foot and you keep going. So this is, again, a total blow-by. Go ahead and YouTube Dennis Smith Jr., Pau Gasol. You'll see Dennis Smith do a casual shuffle, hezi. It's almost like he sees, oh, Pau Gasol's guarding me. I'm just going to plug right into my go-to move here, throw in the hezi, bam, gone, dunk time. Lastly, if you're open, watch Jamal Crawford shoot about 1,000 of these in his career. Because your shuffle's so good, without changing anything, instead of going or crossing, you just take a step into the shot. And as you shuffle, watch Damian Lillard. If the guy is so worried about the drive, you need an option to step back. It's that simple. Right out of the move, don't have to change anything. And I'm going to show you now each option, the same exact options off the skip. The difference is the skip, by going from same foot to same foot, it allows you more to go forwards if you have space towards the defender, whereas shuffle allows you to go side to side easier. So they're really the same overall philosophy, but they're allowing you to navigate the court differently. And now I'll give you a brief overview of why these are go-to moves, but why we're not covering them today. Between has a ton of options and hezzies and step backs, but that's mainly going to be your guy who's going go-to on the ISO, has the ball at the end of the shot clock, gets a ton of time to dance with the ball. So I think it's better to get these down, because for 90% of guys in basketball, spending time on these last three is going to take away from the positions they're really most likely to have the ball. So between hezzy, master these, then between hezzy will make sense. It'll be easy. It'll be covered in another video. And you probably are now that guy. Okay, James Harden wasn't using between hezzy until he was that guy making a ton of plays. Now he's got the ball to spend as much time as he wants. Same concept for Back to the Basket series. How many guys are actually getting tons of isolation post-ups? Not that many. But again, anyone can get these down. Get them down quick, master them, and then get these two, because then when you do end up in a situation, maybe you even drive into the lane, you wind up in a little spin move scenario, but now you have your Back to the Basket series and you turn layups or assists out of a play that seems like you got cut off, and you're still shaking people. Same with between hezzy. You're still going to end up in situations where you could use that even if you're not the guy. And lastly, running. Usually one guy in a team like John Wall or Kyrie Irving is the guy who gets to be running, or Russell Westbrook running with the ball. Not everyone gets to be running with the ball. And don't be running. If you don't have this, you shouldn't be the guy running with the ball. But running with the ball has its own go-to move. So you got 3 advanced, but you got 4 basic. And getting these basic ones down really gets your footwork and coordination and your easy buckets and plays. So you are the guy who's getting to use these last 3.